Alright guys, so today's video is on the Edifier NeoBuds Pro 2, and it really feels like it's been a long time since the original ones has come out, because I think we've kind of gotten used to where companies are releasing new versions of the previous products like every year. It seems like every year a new version of something's coming out, and usually there's not much difference between one and the other, but since there's such a huge gap between the NeoBuds Pro 1 and the NeoBuds Pro 2, I'm very curious as to what all they've changed. So we're going to talk about all that. We're going to see what all comes inside the box and basically see if these can compete with all of the high-end, bigger name brand earbuds at only $129. So that's actually pretty low, especially once we talk about a lot of the features that these have. But as far as the availability, they do come in both black and white, or they actually call it ivory, but it's white. The standout features on these is they are high-res wireless certified. Now, I think the original NeoBuds Pro was the first high-res pair of earbuds that I tested. I'm not 100% sure, but they were one of the first ones to do it. This pair also supports LDAC playback and LHDC, which is low latency, high definition codec. So you're getting some of the best Bluetooth quality you can get. These have 24-bit playback up to 192 kilohertz, basically giving you as close to CD quality as you can possibly get. As far as the drivers, it's using a 10mm dynamic driver mixed with a Knowles balanced armature driver. Now, I always like when you have multiple drivers in one earbud, especially when they mix a dynamic driver and a balanced armature driver. It means you've got one that's handling the low end, and then the other one is handling the mids and the highs. And usually this allows earbuds or IEMs to kind of separate all of those, and it doesn't get as congested or muddy. Now, this pair also has a wideband multi-channel active noise canceling, and the noise canceling on this pair is so impressive. This is definitely competing right up there with the Sony and the Bose, but the big thing here is, again, these are $129, where the Sony and the Bose are usually right around that $300 price tag. So that right there is already a huge selling point. Now, these do work with Edifier's app, which allows you to switch between different noise canceling level modes. You have like, high, medium, and low. You also have wind reduction. It has a transparency mode, which is also very impressive. If you need to talk to somebody, it's easy to switch into that mode. And you can definitely carry on a conversation without taking these out. Now, some other things that the app does is it obviously allows you to keep these updated. This is how you switch it into that LDAC mode, because it will not do that by default. But keep in mind, if you're going to use these and have them in that LDAC mode, it's going to use a little bit more battery life. Also, there is a 360-degree spatial audio with head tracking feature on these, and I usually find this feature to be pretty gimmicky on most earbuds. This pair is basically the same. It does a good job if you're turning your head, that it's kind of letting you know where the sound is coming from, and you can feel it kind of move around. But it does have some hiccups here and there. But again, it's not a feature that I like to use anyway. I don't feel like I ever benefit when it comes to my sound. It works better with movies and TV shows than it does listening to music, so, do keep that in mind. But also in the app, you have the ability to switch around some EQ settings. I recommend the dynamic mode because it does come in a classic mode, and we'll talk about the differences once we get to the sound. You can also go in and switch around some controls if you want to do that. So again, it's a nice app. It works really well, and there's a ton of features in here. Now, if you're going to use these outdoors, they do come in with an IP54 rating, which basically means on top of the slight water protection that these have, you're also getting dust protection as well. And this benefits if you're going to use these at the beach, or if you're using these on a job site where there's dust and all flying around. It's just more peace of mind. You don't have to worry that your earbuds are going to get damaged. Now, as far as the design and the build of both the case and the earbuds, the case feels pretty solid. The earbuds still remind me a lot of the design of the first gen. They do have the stem style design, but there is a little bit of an angular design at the bottom. I do like the look of these. It's not like obnoxious. It's not large. It's super easy to use the touch controls. And I am happy to say that, once you go in and you kind of play around with some things in the app, you can have these control everything. But out of the box, they don't So do keep that in mind. Now, as far as what all you get inside the box, they come with 7 sets of silicone ear tips, so there's plenty to make sure you get the right size. It does come with a USB-C cable, and you are going to have to use this cable because one of the features this pair does not have that I kind of expected is it does not support Qi wireless charging, so you have to use that USB-C cable. But speaking of the charging, this is going to be another area that I think a lot of people might not be too happy with. The battery life is not super impressive, especially if you're going to use these with the noise canceling on. It says that you're going to get 4 hours on the earbuds and about 12 hours using the case. If you use them with the noise canceling off, it bumps it up to 5.5 hours on the earbuds and about 22 hours using the case. But also keep in mind, if you switch it into that LDAC mode, the battery life is going to go down even more. And this pair also has a gaming mode that you can switch them into, which is going to drop the battery life even more than that. So I would think with the noise canceling on and the gaming mode and possibly LDAC and all of that on, you might be hovering at around 2.5 to 3 hours on the earbud. So again, that's not super impressive, but if you do happen to pick the earbuds up and they are dead, it does have a fast charge feature where a 15-minute charge will get you 2 hours of use. Now, if you're going to use these for taking phone calls, now this is another area that's super impressive. They have 8 microphones total, and it also uses aptX voice. So it's taking advantage of some AI algorithms to try to focus in on your voice. And if you're in a noisy environment, it's doing everything it can to try to block some of that out. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here's the mic test using the NeoBuds Pro 2 out in the environment. So you can see if it'll block out some external noise like birds and cars and wind. This is me just walking on the sidewalk and just talking. So this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. Now out of the box, it comes in the classic EQ setting. I found this setting to be kind of boomy. I felt like it wasn't really as detailed as I was expecting, but once I switch it into that dynamic mode, like that is the sweet spot, especially if you're somebody that likes a dynamic sound signature. It keeps that punchy low end, but it just pushes it up a notch where it has like that subwoofer type feel, but it definitely brightens up the treble and boost the mids slightly, where vocalists, again, no matter what genre you're listening to, always felt like they were just in front. It doesn't push them like right in front of you, but it definitely makes sure that they don't get lost in everything that's going on. The treble is nice and clean and bright. Now, it didn't get harsh at any times, even at higher volumes, but it definitely balanced out pretty well with that super punchy low end. Again, I can't stress enough, if you are a bass head and you switch it into that dynamic mode, this is going to be one of the best bass pair of earbuds that you will hear. I haven't really heard a whole lot of earbuds that can compare with these when it comes to bass. It is definitely one of the most dynamic sounding earbuds. Again, keep in mind you can go in and customize the EQ setting if you want like a flatter sound signature, but that's definitely not what this pair is going for. Now, when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging, because it has a dynamic sound, it does kind of, hone these in a little bit. It doesn't sound as wide open as some other earbuds. Now, I still felt like I was in a pretty large room. It did give plenty of space there, and I had never had any issue being able to tell where different sounds were coming from. So my overall opinion on these is this is a top tier, like flagship earbud, but you don't have that top tier flagship price. Now, you are sacrificing Qi wireless charging. The battery life is definitely not good. If you can kind of look over that and the Qi wireless charging, what you are getting is a pair that is high-res wireless certified. It has that LDAC playback. It has that LDHC playback. It's using multiple drivers, which again is allowing everything to sound pretty well separated and not as congested. The mics on here are excellent in my opinion. The spatial audio, if that's what you're looking for, it's nice to have. The gaming mode is nice to have. And in my opinion, it's just some of the best sound that I've heard on any pair of true wireless earbuds. Only if you like a dynamic sound signature. If you're looking for flat, if you're looking for neutral, if you're looking for, close to reference, that's just not even close to what these are trying to go for. If you like a dynamic sound or you just like that fun sound signature, this pair definitely impresses in that department. So guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new Edifier NeoBuds Pro 2. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.